Hello and welcome to Fiona's Creative Canvas. Today I'm going to be doing a sunflower that's textured. I found some beautiful pictures of sunflowers on the internet and I saw this gorgeous pattern where the seeds are in the middle. So what I thought, I would make that my focal point of this painting. I've roughly drawn some lines for my rule of thirds. So divided the canvas into thirds. And I'm going to use this point here for my center. And I'm just going to lightly draw that. Then I want to take the next part of the center. So the center is quite big on a sunflower. So I'm going to go out 4 centimeters from my center circle. And if you're following along, this is a 12-inch by 12-inch canvas. The circle here I've got is a diameter of 12, and then I'm coming, centimeters that is, I'm coming at another 4 centimeters out. And then I'll just hand draw that together. Okay, so that's the center of the sunflower. Then my petals are going to go pretty much to the edge around here. So how far is that? It's another 10 centimeters. Get a little bit of an idea of where I want my petals to end, particularly here. Something like that. Now we've got the size of our flower. I'll probably put too much paint on here, but I'm going to do a background. And I'm going to use some sky colours. I've got cobalt blue, sky blue and titanium white. I'm just going to put some of that in the background. Now normally I actually give my canvas a little bit of a spritz just to get the paint moving. So let's just do that. Just going to put a little bit further down because if you see a gap between the petals, I want the sky to show. Alright, let's do a little bit of Alright, just filling this in with yellow. I'm just going to make it a little bit rough. Alright, got my sort of bushy background. I've just put this up on a turntable just to make it easier for me. But what I want to do now is practice these petals. So I haven't actually done petals before. But you know I like to experiment. And I've got these colours here, and this colour here is going to be going in the middle here. I will be doing some painting in the middle, but I want a base colour, so that's going to be my base colour. I think I should lay the petals down first and then do my circle in the middle with this. So let's have a practice. Maybe I should put this on here, so I want it to be a blend of these two colours. I'm not sure how to load this palette knife. Maybe I need two. If I load it up like that, let's see what happens. Not bad. Let's practice that again. that's terrible. I think just taking as much time as you need to practice these things. That's not too bad. It's probably not long enough though. I'm going to add some more of this colour on the end and we're going to have a go. Alright. Okay. Got to go all the way in. I do wonder whether I should have had slightly thicker texture. So this is just straight modeling paste. Alright, I'm going to try and widen some of this. Okay, let's just keep going. I'm probably going to do a little bit of painting on this as well. Just marking out my line so I don't lose it. Alright, now got to apply this in my center. Alright, let's try and get this on. This is why it's good to have a spinner, but it's not compulsory. What I might do, so I have got a little spatula somewhere. Maybe use this. Spread it like a cake. Now I don't mind this sort of being a little bit rough around here, but I think I want the center to be fairly smooth. Okay, and then what I want to do next is I noticed on this bit there's like little bits that stick up, so I'm going to create that as well, and then I'm going to paint the ends of those dots with yellow bits. I was trying to work out the best way to do that, and I think what I want to do is create a piping bag. So I've got a plastic bag here, and I've got this bottle that I thought I would take the top off and use this hole for my little bits. Now it's quite dark in the picture, so I'm going to add some Van Dyke Brown. It's not going to be dark though. So I've had this problem before, and the best way to solve it was not to use the modeling paste. I'm going to use some heavy gloss gel. The good thing with the gel is it's transparent, whereas the modeling paste is not. Do I want to add a bit of this colour in? I think I will. That's a better colour. So I've just mixed a tiny bit of the colour that I had in, just so that it blends a little bit better with this actual flower. Okay, so I'm going to cut the end off and then place this in so it's like a piping bag. I'm going to test it down here. Okay. Yeah, alright. It's like piping a cake. Oh, splat. Okay, this is dry now. I did have a little bit of an accident over here. I'm not going to worry about that too much, but I do want to touch some of it up, I think. So I'm going to be painting on it now. The center did take longer to dry. I think that's because it was thicker, so it was more than a day. So I'm going to paint this center with Van Dyke Brown. I want to go around some of this with some orange, and I'm going to get some scissors and just chop off some of these pointy tops. I'm not sure if you can see quite how pointy these are. They're pretty bad. So I'm just going to go around while everything's dry. So I want to be able to put a white dot on the end, and if they're too pointy, and because this is made out of gel medium, I can actually chop it with the scissors. I'm not taking very much off. Okay, so I do want to make up a color that's a little bit like that, and I think I had the orange and the brown in it, maybe a bit of the yellow. I want these colors to get a little bit brighter, so let's make it like that. So it's kind of orangey, and I'm just going to paint around some of these areas just because like I'm made a bit of a mess over here. Just want to separate some of these as well. I think it's going to be quite difficult, but let's just fix up some of these little spots. Not sure about that. Because it's gel, it washes off very easily. I think what I'm going to do next, I'm going to paint my center, and I want it probably a mix of the Van Dyke Brown and a bit of the Payne's Grey, because I want it quite dark. Let's wet my brush a bit. And this will be where I dot a pattern on later. Supposed to be the star of the show. I hope it works out all right. Okay, now I'm going to do my yellow dots, and I think I want this really bright. I'm going to use this pointy brush. I don't know what the brush is called. It's going to take a while to dot all these. This is why I wanted to chop the tops off, just to give me a bit of a platform to put the dot. So I've put all my dots on, and if I was to do this again, I think I would do this part differently. I don't think I'd have the risen bits out, but that's okay. We're going to work with what we've got. What I want to do now is paint some darker bits from the petals, just to give a bit more character. I'm just using a mix of the orange and the two other yellows. Okay, this is dry, and I'm going to start my center. A little bit scary. I know the very center ones have a bit of a green tint, so I'm going to add that into my yellow, and I'm going to slowly work around. So intricate. I don't know why I decided to do this. I wonder how this fine brush will go. Alright, let's add some more yellow. I'm going to go back to this. Okay, so I'm really happy with that centerpiece, but you know me, and if I'm not quite happy with something, I keep going. So this part here is just not looking the way I'd like it to. I think doing the texture or the piping was possibly a mistake, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint on using this Van Dyke Brown. I'm just going to try doing dots and adding more, making it more dense so that you don't see quite as much of the base color, and hopefully I can make it look a bit better. So I'm just using the bottom of an old paintbrush just to do dots. Okay, so I've added lots more dots in there, so I have to wait for these to dry before I add any yellow dots. But what I do want to do is add a little bit more colour to the flower itself, just a bit more depth. So I've got the orange and the burnt sienna here. I'm just going to add a little bit more colour. Just gives it some beautiful depth. And using some water as well. I wonder if I should just add a little bit of yellow to help blend it. Okay, here is the final result. And I did come along and put yellow spots onto the brown dots that I put in. And you can see that I've darkened this around as well. It's really bright. Such a vibrant colour. And the middle has just got that spiral. It's a little greenish right in the centre, but didn't quite get the exact pattern that you get in sunflowers. But that would be quite tricky. But yeah, from the side. So this part here I would do differently, but I'm pretty happy with the rest of it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. How would you approach it? So that's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you all in the next one. Bye.